Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Metal video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the third stage of the Magnificent Spectacle, aka the Blue Zone, aka the super version of Red Zone, whatever way you want to call it. We're going to take a look at the mission, which requires us to use one extreme unit of each typing to beat the boss. Now the boss is good old Goku Super Saiyan God SS. Well, kind of. This Super Saiyan God SS Goku is based on the God Goku that is actually a Kaioken Goku, but you know, it is what it is. I think a lot of people were confused when that first came out, but he is basically the Kaioken Goku. They didn't call him that at the time, not too certain why, but yeah, basically this is against that Goku. Now he is a INT type character. He's immune to stunning, immune to stealing, sealing, not stealing. Who knows? Maybe Goku's a thief. But he is also immune to defense lowering. However, he is not immune to attack lowering. So attack lowering is going to be a very crucial part of, I would say, you know, for me, a really good kind of team-like build. If you want to build a good team, I think you have to a certain extent, facilitate and appreciate that you're going to need attack lowering, because without it I think you're not going to be able to run as well a team as you maybe want to. So that's definitely something 100% that players need to be aware of. Now with that being said, I think for this challenge to have one unit of each type, your biggest concern is also tech, because obviously tech units tend to be weak against INT, and for me, of course, the big concern that we have ultimately is that Goku supers those tech units. So you need to run a team where having a tech unit that's not going to let you down is a priority. Now there's not a lot of them on the extreme side. I think Goku, Rose and Zamasu is decent if you maintain their defensive stacks. I think you have tech Janemba, always a favorite of mine because of his ability to have damage reduction and also his ability to you know, have guard, which I think coupled together always makes a really good team. So like those type of units are what you want to aim for. Any tech unit that has guard or maybe high levels of damage reduction probably going to be a priority pick, just because then it gives you it gives you, how can I say, it gives you this foundation of like, okay, you know, my unit, what he's going to do is he's going to at least survive, and then the rest of the units can kind of do their job. Now you also have to be concerned because Goku also has the ability to raise his super attack. He also disables evasion, which is very annoying. So you have a situation where you have evasion disabled, and now you're like, okay, well, my evasion is disabled. So what do? You know, what can I do? I can't bring units that have strong evasion, you know, so that's a concern. I don't think there's any real extreme units that rely on evasion. I think Hirudegan is probably the only one. Obviously a great unit, but that's kind of maybe the only really sore spot, because I think Hirudegan would have been great for this. I mean, he still is. Listen, I think Hirudegan still is fine for this. Low key, like I think he's still fine, just because he's so strong anyway. But I think, yeah, like all things considered, I do think you need to yeah, maybe understand and kind of be like, okay, well, I can't bring evasion centric units. Yeah, I think those evasion centric units are gonna struggle a little bit in this fight. So yeah, that's something. I mean, beyond that, I'd probably say there's not anything super major. I think for most players, you know, building your team is going to be very straightforward once you factor in those things. So yeah, for me, my team build, I think we went very simple. We went with super bosses. So for my units, obviously AGL Zamasu, great defensive unit, really strong. Then we also have the INT Goku Black, also really strong and super duper helpful. So INT Goku Black does a lot of what we want, multiple super attacks, especially against obviously, you know, super class units, lowers attack as well. So he's got a lot. that I think players will be very happy to have in their team's kit. Of course, this also allows us to take the Tech Zamasu as a friend lead. Now, I will preface this, you do not need the new Goku Black, and you don't need the new Broly to beat this stage. I think if you run double Tech Zamasu, you'll be fine, because Tech Zamasu defensively is actually fine for like the beginning section of the game. Like he's actually, he's more than fine. And then on top of that, you also actually have the fact that you have the new physical Goku Black Super Easy A. So there isn't, like, how can I say, there isn't a lack of really strong units. So if you ran a team that was like Tech Zamasu, AGL Zamasu, INT Zamasu, INT Goku Black, then ran physical Goku Black and the strength Goku Black, I think you'd be fine. Now, strength Goku Black, you're going to notice, is definitely our weak unit. Even though he lowers attack with his passive, he just doesn't have the raw like defensive stat to deal with Goku. Like if he takes the super attack, it's game over for us. So that's, I'd say, the only weak point really of the team. Not that it's impossible to get past, but it is just something to be aware of. But yeah, I think ultimately for me, all things considered, the big carry is obviously INT Goku Black. I think Broly as a friend does a great job, of course. I think you can bring the physical Zamasu. He also is not too bad. He's great against superclass enemies. The only problem is evasion's disabled, so you don't have the merit of his full kit. I think you always have to keep that in mind. Like, with units that you're using in these events and stuff, I think you have to keep in mind that, I think these units, generally speaking, are, like, they're going to struggle, I think it's definitely, like, something that's a problem if you're relying on evasion. They need at least the minimum raw defense to take on Goku, and I think that's honestly, like, 400k. Like, it's a very high threshold of defense that's needed. So it's challenging. I don't want to say it's impossible, but it is challenging. It's always challenging. So for me, though, all things considered, I honestly was pretty happy with this team. I think I had a great time using them. I didn't really have any units that I felt let me down outside of strength Goku Black. But I think you can make them work. Like, you can hide them enough. I think just keep them out of the way of attacks. Like, don't worry about pushing them off rotation. Just worry more about getting them out the way of attacks, and I think then you'll have a better time. I think a lot of people, when they have units that are weak, they try very hard to push them off rotation because they're scared, obviously, that they'll take more attacks. But you need to worry about net attacks more than anything. Like, if pushing them into the third slot is going to give you a situation where they're going to take like 5 or 6 attacks, it just feels very pointless to try and counteract that, I guess, by, like, you know what I mean? Like, it feels pointless to kind of counteract that. Like, I don't really know, like, why you would want him to take 6 attacks now so that you don't have to deal with him for 2 turns. It's just going to put you low on health. It's going to put you in a bad situation. So, yeah. All things said, though, I'm happy with the team. Happy with everything they did. Happy with, like, the functionality of them. I think, there's probably an improvement to be made. I think running double Brolys definitely would help. I actually think running double physical Goku Black is actually the best way. Low-key, I'm not gonna lie. I think double physical Goku Black is the best because, physical Goku Black, as much as he has his issues, he has that type advantage. He also has that damage reduction. And these things he can hit super hard with and also just be really good with. So, like, for me, I understand that, like, obviously he has his own problems, but I think, especially in this situation, I don't know, he feels like he could be really, really good. So that is, I guess, probably something I do want to mention. But yeah, I think ultimately for me, all things being said, this team build worked nicely. I do think Super Masters is probably the best for this. I tried the Terrifying Conquerors team, and it's not that it didn't work. It could definitely work. It just felt like it needed a much higher threshold. You needed like dupes of LR units, you needed stuff like that. Whereas here, I feel like you could do this with probably every unit on like 55% or with like a single dupe rather than anything else. Whereas I think like if you were running like other teams, you probably needed a higher threshold. But that's just me. But yeah, with that being said, that is basically everything else. And yeah, if you need any help, let me know in the comments down below. I'll gladly assist. But otherwise, yeah, that's basically going to be it from me. So I will see you guys in the next one.